This is Alan with HeadphoneReviewHQ.com, and today I'm bringing you a review of the Pro700MK2s by Audio-Technica. Build quality of the Pro700MK2s. As is the case with most Audio-Technica headphones that I've reviewed to date, these are a solid build. These should last you years and years and years. They click into place very well. I mean, these actually click into place extremely well. They're not going to move once you put them where you want them to be. These actually do have a unique feature. The cable on the MK2s screws in, and they send you a couple different ones, and apparently I screwed it in real nice, but they send me a couple of different ones, and one's a coiled version, one's a straight version, and that is awesome. So if you ever find that you've pulled these out of your headphones and you need to replace your cable, you can replace your cable and not your entire set of headphones. The headband actually has some pretty solid clamping pressure on it. It's good in that it'll keep it on your head, and for those who are sensitive to overly tight headphones, this may not be a good thing. That brings up another thing. The speakers on the inside of these actually don't recess back into the headphones like most headphones do. These are sitting pretty close to the pads, so while this is pushing down on your ears, it might bother some people that you can actually feel that speaker on your ear. It doesn't bother me, but it's something to be aware of. This is the first set of headphones I actually remember that wasn't an on-ear headphone where I could actually feel the speakers. And these are solid, like they're built out of pretty hardy plastic, so just something to be aware of. The pads themselves, they're pretty thick, they're pretty comfortable. They're not the most comfortable I've had, but they do a decent job. And as far as the heat factor, they are leather, so after a little bit of time, they are going to heat up your ears just like with any other set of headphones that has these. So, but that's pretty standard on most headphones, especially in this price range. And as far as the look, I mean, these are decent. They've got little, metal looking, actually I believe it's plastic around the edge, but they have a decent look. They're not flashy like a Beats or anything, but they do look nice. And it's got the huge Audio-Technica logo on the top, so nobody will mistake what you're wearing. Another thing is the cable does come out of the left ear like on most of their headphones, which is nice. I like that it's just one single cable coming out. Another thing is these do fold up, so you can tuck them away like that, and also you can flip these around, so if you're trying to just listen like this, or if you're trying to give it to another person so that they can hear it, that's another feature. And these are DJ style headphones, so these are all things that went into the design of the MK2s. One thing that I like to go over with any set of headphones that I review is the isolation. What you'll be able to hear while you're wearing the headphones and what other people around you will be able to hear while you're listening. So as far as the isolation from what I can hear around me, these do muffle a little bit of sound. They are a sealed back headphone, so I can't really, it's very dull, so it blocks out a little bit of sound. They're not noise canceling headphones, but they do block out a decent amount of sound. So if there is ambient noise in a room, these will help eliminate some of that. As far as what you'd be able to hear if you're sitting next to me, I've got this turned about 3/4 of the way up, and that's actually pretty loud on the MK2s. Here we go. If you're sitting next to me, that's what you'd hear. This is about 3 feet away, and that's the isolation. The bass on the MK2s is solid. It's not the best bass I've ever heard, but it is deep, it is accurate. It just doesn't have a real involving feel to it, but by no means is it bad. It's actually as good as most headphones that I've heard, especially in this price range. So there's nothing really to complain about here. It just doesn't have that sense of involvement that some other headphones do have. The mids actually surprised me quite a bit. The mids on these are pretty forward. There may be a touch too forward, so if you're listening to artists like Adele or Rebecca Ferguson, they have very upper mid treble voices that can get a little bit piercing at times, and I noticed that with these, but for the most part, most artists I listen to, the mids are very rich and they're very filling, and it's actually a very nice sound. So Hey, great job on the mids. The treble on the MK2s is also good. These aren't the best I've heard. They're not as detailed and as airy as some other ones that I've heard. But in the environments that you're probably going to be listening to these in, you wouldn't be able to pick those out anyways, because most DJs are going to be in loud environments. So again, they did a nice job on them, but they're not the most detailed that I've heard. Where the MK2s really shine is in the volume and the sensitivity. These things were powered more than plentiful by my iPhone 3GS, which does not have the greatest amplifier built into it. If you turn these up 3/4 of the way, they're pretty loud. If you turn them up all the way, you can hear the amp start straining a little bit, but it is very, very loud. These don't really require amping, but doing so might bring out a little bit more detail for you, because where the iPhone's amp gives out a little bit, a regular amplifier can pick up and actually keep those notes and those tunes a lot cleaner. My final thoughts on the MK2s. These are a great set of headphones, especially for what their intended purpose is, which is for DJs. In a noisy environment where volume is essential and where you want to be able to hear the bass and the mids and the highs well, these do a great job. Another thing, like I mentioned before, is the build quality. The fact that you can replace these cables, that's huge. I mean, there's not very many sets of headphones, especially in this price range, that give you that kind of flexibility. Most of the time you'd be going digging to buy another set of headphones. Some things that I do want to note, I've had a lot of questions, especially on my M50 reviews, about how do they compare to the MK2s. And here's what I can tell you. It's kind of interesting. The MK2s, they have a completely different sound signature. The M50s are a little bit more laid back in the mid-range. These are a little bit more forward. Believe it or not, the M50s actually have a little bit stronger bass, especially unamped, than these do, and the bass is a little bit more involving than the MK2s. It's the same thing with the treble. The treble is more airy and more detailed and more defined than the M50s, but the treble is very good in these, and again, in a DJ type environment, these are going to be wonderful. They're going to be a great set of headphones that you can crank up real loud, get your beats and all that. Now, one thing I did want to mention, these will go extremely loud without an amplifier. I did find though that pairing these with the FiO E11 or even the E17 and actually even the E6 to some degree, putting the bass boost on those gave the bass that most people were asking me about for the MK2s, because it seemed like almost all the questions I received on the MK2s was regarding how does the bass sound on these things. So once you put them on an amp or you EQ the bass up, these things will take tremendous amounts of power, and it will give you bass that is completely undistorted. That being said, you're probably not going to get that straight out of your iPhone or your iPod or anything like that. You can change the EQ settings on that. The only thing I don't like about that is when you're using your iPod or your iPhone especially, I don't know about a lot of Android devices, but you can only EQ songs that you have saved on your device. So if you want to get that full bass, I recommend picking up maybe the E11, which has more than enough power, and the 2 EQ settings on that are fantastic for the bass. And these things will rattle on your head. And again, with the E11 especially, it keeps the mids almost completely untouched, and the highs they stay the same. So you're really just getting that bass boost. So again, a fantastic set of headphones. And if you are in a DJ type environment, which is where these are intended, you're probably already using an amp of some sort. But if you're not, a cheap alternative would be something like the E11. Again, these are a great set of headphones. I recommend them. As far as genres for the MK2s, anything from pop, rap, hip hop, trance, dubstep, any of those genres that have like driving bass or any kind of beats like that, these do great for those. I don't know that these would necessarily be what I'd choose if I were going to go with classical or anything in that, maybe even bluegrass or anything. There's probably better headphones for these. But these work great for anything where you want a lot of volume and that just pumping beat. So that is what I recommend for these. They'll play other genres fairly well, but these definitely hit their stride in these others. Again, this has been Alan with HeadphoneReviewHQ.com. I want to say thank you to Audio Technica for sending out the MK2s for this evaluation. As always, I really enjoyed doing this, and another fine product by Audio Technica. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment block below. I personally respond to each and every one of them just as soon as I can. Also, while you're at it, go down there and click on the thumbs up button. It helps get the review up there so that more people can see it. And, you know, please, if you're interested in looking at other headphones, go check out my YouTube channel, subscribe to that. I've got a number of headphones that are going to be out soon as far as the review. And, you know, go over and check out my site at www.headphonereviewhq.com. Also, if you do plan on picking up a set of these MK2s, please use my affiliate links below. You won't get charged anymore. I send you to reputable sites, but it basically, for me, helping you decide where to spend your hard-earned money, it helps me do more reviews in the future. So again, thanks a lot for watching this entire video, and you know, go check out my other ones. I'll see you soon.